Live from inside Porsche, Colorado Springs, it's the First Dibs podcast with our hosts, John Deisty and Justin Underwood. Buckle up and let's go for a ride.
Hey,
Haha.
haha, yes.
Welcome back to
Stop talking about Porsche.
Welcome back to the First Dibs podcast from inside Porsche, Colorado Springs. I'm Justin,
I'm John.
and we apologize for last week's episode.
Kinda. Only a little bit. Like
I did not listen
the people that watch us on YouTube. I would highly recommend you go check out the audio only version. We
Of
had
last
of
week.
last week. It's just special.
So why don't you describe what it was real quick, if you don't mind?
Our buddy Brendan did an AI caricature of our show, and we published that, and it was wonderful.
Why? Why did we publish that?
We were busy. We couldn't do the show. We
Yeah.
had an event going on. Nobody consulted our schedules.
Yeah.
Nobody realized that we do this every Friday at 7.
Right.
So let's just throw an event there.
Yeah.
But it was a good event.
The event last week was a singer party,
Yes. Yeah.
which is when we started this show.
So if this was the last episode, that would be a nice, like, just roundabout, nice job, guys. You made it.
Yeah.
You know, Smoking Tire got to 1,000 episodes. You guys almost made it to 200. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's not. Nope.
it is not
You're
the last
It's
show.
not the last show. We're going to keep going.
Yeah. Surprise.
Yep. But no, let's see. So lots of things. Go back and listen to the audio version of the AI thing. It was pretty fun. I love it because it's, a good caricature is just true, and this is perfectly true. It's very accurate. So last week. Well, actually, how about we went to Palm Springs? I haven't talked about that.
Yeah. You've been gone.
I've been gone, and then I was gone, and I'll be gone next week. So, good luck. But I went to Palm Springs. I got to go check out some other dealerships, which was fun.
Oh, Porsche dealership?
Porsche and non-Porsche.
Okay.
The Porsche store down there was cool.
Which Porsche store did you go to?
I think they call it Porsche Palm Springs. It's in Rancho Mirage.
yeah.
I think it's in Rancho Mirage. Anyway, it was cool. Multi-story. They had a little kid play area that, like, Isla was totally bored and it hated it. And she's like, "Can we leave yet?" And then she saw the kid play area and she's like, "Oh, never mind. I'll be here." This is
That's
good.
kind of cool.
Yeah. So I thought that was neat. 2-story showroom, big, like, balcony walking out over stuff, and you could look in back and see where they were working on cars. So that was pretty sweet.
That was a prototype store when it first opened.
Was it? Yeah. I like it. I
and
thought
now
it was nice.
they've taken parts of that store and integrated into the next gen
The
design.
Gen 5 stuff.
Gen 6.
Gen 6.
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah. They had some cool stuff. They had a red Singer.
That's cool.
They had, my favorite car was a 1975 Carrera, which gets the Carrera RS engine. It was I think it's Euro market then, but it had the 210 horsepower, 2.7.
Nice.
It was in ice green,
Oh, that's cool.
which was just delightful.
yeah.
So that's the one I would buy. It was like 185 grand.
Nice.
Felt like a number. They had a couple RSs. And their sales guy came over and he's like, "Hey, oh yeah." I was like, "Oh yeah, I just work at Porsche Colorado Springs," and blah blah blah. And somehow it came up what we had in inventory, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we got like 8 mid-engine RSs and 4 GT3 RSs," and he was like, "Huh." So
6 Singers.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was fun. They were nice people. Store had some traffic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was neat. Then we went to they've got like Ferrari and Rolls and Bugatti and McLaren and Bentley all in one little corner. That was awesome. That was fun to see. The Rolls Royces were the ones I really liked. You just don't see them around here.
So the Saturday's event, the Singer Cars and Coffee, there was a two-tone. What's the SUV? Cullinan.
Yeah, that's the one I want. I want a Cullinan with a tangerine interior.
Giant car. Just a giant car. Which says, "Get out of my way."
Yeah,
right. It commands road presence. You know. But anyway, go ahead.
That's kind of it. They also had some crazy Senna that was like just the there's a Senna and then there was this special one, kind of like, I guess maybe a GT3 to a GT3 RS progression, something like that. And it was the first time I looked at a McLaren Senna and was like, wow, that's a really cool car.
They're small.
Yeah, well, it wasn't overly big.
Yeah.
It was papaya. They're like cool,
they're orange.
metallic orange. And then it just had all kinds of really cool details that I think photos wouldn't do justice. And Lewis is obviously a uber geek, and he knew like those parts aren't usually painted, and this part's different, and you know it doesn't have those cool titanium exhausts. But that was really fun.
I think what I'm blown away by when I see a Senna in person is how small the wheels and tires are in circumference.
Are they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They're like 15 or 16 inch wheels.
No way.
Yeah.
You're lying. These weren't 15s. I mean, a McLaren F1, I think, has 17s.
I don't know. I just, the first time I got up next to a Senna, I was just shocked by it was the wheel
Not
size.
a Sienna. This is different.
Haha.
You know what else is different? Porsche Colorado Springs.
That's right.
That's a throwback to last
You're
week.
learning. Yeah.
So that was good. We got to go to the Air Museum.
That's cool.
They have an F-117.
I don't know.
The stealth fighter.
Oh.
So not the big B-2 stealth bomber, but the more angular looking one from the Gulf War. That was really cool to see. I think in pictures it looks very chunky.
Which one looks like a big triangle?
They're both kind of triangles, but the bomber is just a flying wing where it's just totally flat. There's nothing else.
Right.
The F-117 has kind of a V-shaped tail that comes back and is much, much more angular.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And man, was that a good looking airplane.
Those are just single pilot, right? Yeah.
Incredibly cool. Saw a bunch of other stuff there. Went to the zoo.
Which is zoo?
The Zoo of the Desert.
That's what it's called?
Something like that, yeah.
Like a bunch of reptiles?
Well, yeah, the first time we went, I was probably in actually, I could tell you exactly because it was when Robin Williams Live on Broadway came out.
Really?
For the first time.
Wow.
And there was a bit where he was talking about how earmuffs children... let's just put it this way. He had a mustache and he was talking about how ladies sometimes see people like, and I was watching it. I had seen it before. And thought it was absolutely hilarious. But then I remembered, oh shit, this is the part that's coming up. And my parents were there. And so I immediately got up and left. And I was like, I can't watch this with my parents in the room.
Wow.
So whenever Robin Williams Live on Broadway was first coming out,
right,
is when we were down there for the first time.
Yeah.
And the zoo had a tortoise.
Yeah.
And that was it. You walked in and there was a tortoise, and then there were some mountains and there were sheep on the mountains, but the sheep were all like, we're going to go around the other side of the mountain because I don't want to hang out with these people. And it wasn't even like an enclosure. Right. It was just the mountain. And sometimes there were sheep on that mountain. That was the zoo. Yep. And now it's great. They've got a rhino, and they've got African dogs, and they've got and they feed the wild dogs cadavers. like not people, but they just
cadaver pigs.
Yeah, they just
wow,
give them a dead animal, and then the things are nom, nom, nom. Kind of like Robin Williams. Man, I missed doing podcasts. But yes, they do all of these things, and it was a great zoo. And they do this like nighttime light up thing that I think they kind of took a page out of Coachella's book, where if you did a lot of drugs and then wandered through the zoo, it'd be amazing, because it's like it's just cooled off enough. The desert's hot; it's like 90 degrees all day, and then it's cooled off just enough so it's 60. And they've got all of these crazy Technicolor, like it's almost paper mache, but it's not. Wire structures and like owls that are as tall as me. But they're Technicolor.
Wow. Yeah.
And they're all over the zoo. So you walk through this whole thing and there's like a parrot section and
At nighttime.
yeah, at night.
Yeah.
It was cool.
That would be trippy.
And there were some speakers you could talk into. And when you talked into them, the birds said whatever you said, but in bird voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Tell me you don't want to go do some drugs and try that.
I personally don't want to do any drugs and go try that, but I would love watching someone that does.
No, I don't want to watch anybody either. You got to be a babysitter. But in another life, at another point in my life, if I had, I don't know, if I was either way more successful than I am right now or way less successful than I am right now, I could see.
Yeah. In the meantime, we'll get all jacked up on Metamucil and go give it a shot.
Is that the stuff that makes you poop?
No, I don't think it does.
Oh.
It just supplements all the fiber that people are missing in their diet.
I think it makes you poop.
I think it helps with it.
That's probably enough on doing drugs in the desert. Do we have any new cars to talk about before we get to our questions? Other than the like 700 pages of things that I'm not supposed to talk about yet.
Yeah, we shouldn't talk about those just yet.
Yep.
Yeah, what do we have that's new? No. We have a Ruby Star Carrera that is here. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's got a couple thousand miles on it.
Yep.
To 2022 or 3.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a nice car. PDK. Yeah, Ruby Star. I mean, it's
such a good color.
It is. It's a
it makes
great
me
car.
happy.
That is here.
We have a 2004 911 Turbo.
That's right. 2004 911 Turbo Coupe.
Yep, comes from a great client. I think I meant great client. And it's a really, I think it's a really, really cool one. It's got the right seats in it, the manually adjustable sports seats with the extra bolstering.
It's a 6-speed.
It's a 6-speed manual. It has the
upgraded radio.
Yep, PCCM Plus.
Yeah, that's the new Porsche radio with the touchscreen, the Apple CarPlay, all that stuff.
All that stuff's good. The wheels are like GT3 wheels, but wide body treatment. So I'm not sure. There was something super special about them.
The wheels?
The wheels, yeah. They're like the lightweight GT division wheel. But Porsche factory stuff.
It does have some AWE tuning parts on it.
Yep, and a K24 turbos.
Yeah, I believe it. Did it come out of the factory with a sport shifter?
I think that was added.
It has a
but yeah, it's got a nice
shifter.
Yeah, that feels good.
No, really nice car. Black. No, very, very nice car. 65,000 miles. Is that right?
Yep.
And our service department here has done a ton of service on it. Everything works, even the spoiler.
Yep.
The hydraulic rams, the clutch feels really great. That's one of the things. That's one of the first things the previous owner had done when he got it, was take care of some of that stuff. Yeah, that's a really nice car. Actually, an Aventurine Green Carrera 4
that Nancy has sold twice.
Yeah.
So you better call her and let her have that one.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's a 2022.
Yep, that sounds right.
I think Carrera Aventurine Green over black Mojave beige interior Carrera 4.
Yep. Sport Chrono, Sport Exhaust.
Yeah. Yes. 2 sets of wheels. Actually, the gold, like
Golds
the
are
gold
good.
arm wheels.
The golds are good.
Those are sweet. That's what's on it right now with the summer tires. And then it comes with a silver set of wheels with winter tires on it if you want to drive in the wintertime.
Yes.
Rear wiper. I love that feature myself personally. But that's a really, really cool, very nice car.
Yeah.
Excited to have that one here.
Agree.
And that's what comes to mind as far as the cars that are super fresh in inventory as of right now. Should we get to a question or two real quick?
I think we got to talk about the Singer event.
Oh, duh. Yeah, so we had 2 Singer events.
Yeah.
So we had a
I
Singer
think I'm
event.
still tired from Saturday.
Oh my gosh, me
Yeah.
too. Yeah. So Friday night, Singer hosted a VIP event here in our new car showroom. It was invitation only, so if you didn't know about it, don't be offended, by that. This was kind of their thing that they put together. And anyway, that was great. We had about 75 people here for
And
that.
we had people that flew in that have Singers on order and saw our dealership for the first time because
Yep.
they wanted to be a part of this event.
Yep.
I didn't realize that there's like us and is it PAF?
FAF.
FAP
But they're in Canada.
in Canada, yeah. That is also a dealership partner.
There's 3 dealer partners. I don't
The other
remember
one's
who
in
the
Puerto
third
Rico.
was. Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah, so we're one of 3 Porsche dealers that are partnered with. You probably shouldn't say that too out loud, but partnered with Singer Vehicle Design, and we have been for a long time. I want to say in total we've commissioned about 30 cars with them.
that's so many. That sounds
a lot.
That sounds like more than I thought.
That's a lot. And so Friday night they had some special guests that came. The main viewing was the new Turbo Study.
Yep.
So Singer provided some of their own cars. They had a Singer Classic, which I thought was an actual classic. It was great. It did not have the external fuel cell. It did not have the external oil fill. I mean, it was very, just
Understated.
old 911. And then they had a DLS, beautiful.
Number 1 and number 75.
Yeah, a beautiful DLS. That car was gorgeous.
Yeah, so if you saw when it was launched at Goodwood, that's the car that was here.
Yeah, that's wild.
white with the yellow interior.
Yeah, that car is actually available. I think
Yeah,
3.95 million. I
so,
believe
yeah,
is the
something
price.
like that. Yeah,
And then they brought a Turbo Study. To me, it was very reminiscent of pastel yellow.
yep.
As far as the color goes, with the green, a dark green, like forest green interior. I thought that was. We were really, really lucky, and we had a local client pull up with his 1980 930. That is
Oak green
metallic.
With cashmere.
It's not cashmere though. I've never found out the color of that interior. But anyway, like a light tan interior. And so he parked right at the front door, right outside, and you could see, I mean, how close the Singer Vehicle Design 911 resembles the original 930.
Yeah, it's just like the classics.
Oh, it's
the-
amazing.
If you didn't know,
Yeah.
you would just think it was a really nice,
Yeah.
really clean old 911.
Yeah.
And I think that's fun. The DLS does not.
No.
That one,
That stands out.
That's a loud car.
Some people just think it's an RWB.
That's true. Yeah, I could see that. Or an old race car or something like that.
right.
But it's more special.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones, I think in the right color combo, they could be overlooked, which I think would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Now, were you down there for the unveiling of the Turbo Study?
Yes.
I did not get to hear Ethan's speech as far as the specs, things like that on the car.
510 horsepower.
Wow.
I think it's a 3.8 turbo.
Okay.
Retains the original case of the 964.
The
so
donor. Wow.
as long as yours was numbers matching, your car would still be numbers matching.
Holy moly.
It'd be kind of fun. And then I don't know, what else do you need to know?
They still use the 6-speed manual
Yeah,
transmission.
still a G50 6-speed.
That's good to know. It's not. They don't use 930 chassis. They still use 964 coupes and Targas.
Somebody said they only do 89s now. That you have to find in 1989. I don't know if
That's
that's
not
true or
accurate,
not, but that's what I was told.
But that was a great event.
It was a super cool event.
Yeah.
Singer brought a couple other people, Seamus, who we've both met a few times, and then Ethan, one of their newer guys. At the end of the show, I invited those guys out to come meet us for dinner, and they did.
Yeah, that's great.
Which was kind of fun. So we went over to the Famous, and they showed up, and Seamus told some stories about, motorcycle racing on the Isle of Man. And then I asked Ethan,
You've done that?
Yeah, he was a motorcycle mechanic for Yamaha.
Oh, he wasn't the racer.
No, yeah, he was the mechanic.
Okay.
And then he lived on Isle of Man and supported those motorcycles.
Because he's Irish.
Yeah, so that was super cool.
So he loves potatoes.
Yeah, so we ordered French fries, and then I ordered him mashed potatoes and a loaded baked potato. So
That's perfect. And then Ethan, I didn't get to talk to him very much. Yeah, I've known Seamus for a number of years. He's the guy that I call, like with Singer, and ask questions. And then if he's not the guy that I need to talk to, then he directs me.
at least he knows.
Yeah. But I want to say when he started with Singer, he was one of the mechanics.
Yeah, I think he said he's employee number 5.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So he's been
The first time that I met him, he was out here with our owner, with Don's yellow Singer.
working with Petiti back there.
Yeah, exactly. And because that car is number 46. If
That
I
sounds right
remember
to me.
And that's the first car that they did the ceramic discs on. So when that car first showed up here, it had prototype brake discs on it. Seamus was the guy that showed up to pull the prototypes off, put steel discs in the place, while they sent the prototypes to Brembo so they could take whatever readings or whatever they needed from it to make the actual carbon discs. And then I don't remember if he came back to install them or just sent them to Petiti. But anyway, that's the first time I met him. That was so that would have been back in late 2015, I think. Yeah, the first time that I met Seamus. But he's taken on a totally different role, which I think he's fit into really well. All those guys are awesome. We had a number of people asking us if Rob Dickinson was going to be here, and we knew, that he would not be here.
I didn't know that, but
Oh, sorry.
it's okay.
Maybe I forgot to pass.
I might not have asked.
But no, Seamus and Ethan, they did a fantastic job Friday night with their showing. And then Saturday, what John's referring to is, I'm still tired from that. But Saturday was a General Cars and Coffee event with Singer Vehicle Design here at the dealership. Singer promoted it. The dealership promoted it. We had no idea what to expect as far as the turnout.
Yeah, we knew it'd be busy. But we didn't have a number. There was like no
and
RSVP.
Weather was up in the air, that kind of stuff. We still had people fly into town, drive in from far away, to come for that event. We're guessing, 500-600 people showed up?
Yeah, I think that's...
It was huge.
Fair.
My son was here. I had no idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't either.
He showed me a picture of a Ferrari Pista that was parked here in our gallery of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. Were you at... He goes, yeah. No, me and a buddy went down. Like, what? I said, did I see you? He goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude. But I was running. I was running
Yeah,
around.
no, we were
all
busy.
running, right?
Yeah, Doug came down, and like 5 times I tried to catch up with him, and I couldn't because
No way.
Another client came by, and I was like, "Hey, sorry, gotta go to
That's
work."
insane.
Yeah.
I didn't see Doug.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was really good.
It was absolutely crazy. And we were still doing business. We still were selling cars.
Yeah,
We had people taking delivery of their electric Macan, during the middle of it, which would be just a riot of a time. That was great. That was a really, really awesome turnout.
yeah,
of
yeah.
people.
No, that whole weekend reminded me about how lucky I am to work here.
All right, I'm going to stop you before you do another plug for...
For Porsche. You know
That's
what
a
that
play
weekend
on
was
last
like?
week's
That
episode.
weekend was a lot like driving your Porsche. Yeah. Not to toot my own horn. I couldn't have said it better myself. But seriously, like with any job, no matter how much you love it, sometimes it becomes work.
Yeah.
And when it becomes work too much, I don't do well with that. I'm a bartender. Bartending's not work. Sometimes it is. You have to clean up and stuff, but
Yeah, if you work at TGI Fridays,
yeah,
it's probably work.
I'm sure it can be work.
Right.
But I like to enjoy what I'm doing. I like to have fun with it. That is, I'm not a serious lawyer type. I'm not an accountant. I am not, that is not something that brings me joy in my life. So when working, no matter where it is, becomes work,
Yeah.
I am not at my best.
Yeah.
I am at my best when I am doing what we did last weekend. Kissing babies, shaking hands, having fun with the people that I enjoy. And, and even if it's somebody I've never met before, this is a fun environment. We're having fun. And that's what I like. And so last weekend really reminded me of how lucky I am to be a part of this. Like, because even when we don't have, $17 million worth of singers in the building next door,
Right.
we've got the best cars out there.
Yeah.
There can't be many other dealerships that have this level of inventory and
Yeah.
just period.
Yeah.
So,
No, you gotta-
and not especially of stuff that I like.
Yeah. No, you gotta go to Dubai.
Yeah,
to see this kind of
probably.
crazy stuff. Yeah.
So Porsche Colorado Springs commercial over. It was something, and I told Joe on the next Monday, I was like, just thanks for letting me be a part of this, because it's really fun to be a part of something that I didn't build this. I was lucky enough to be selected to be a part of it, and now I think I'm helping contribute to the awesomeness of it. But thanks for picking me and pulling me into this, because I love it. So
I get a huge kick out of seeing. I see Joe interact with people all the time, right? Which I enjoy that. I like watching Joe, do his craft that that he is a master of. I really enjoy seeing Dawn, right?
Yeah.
Down here for that stuff and interacting with everybody. I was because where I came from, that would never happen. No way. But no, seeing Don interact with everybody the way that he does, and then actually very recently, some lot guys, like some vendors that they fix
stuff,
wheels and whatever on cars. They were waiting for me one day, and they're walking around the showroom, and Don happened to be here.
Yeah.
And he's walking around, and I glanced over, and they're like, Don's talking about these cars, over against the window, and I'm still with this client. I'm thinking in my head, like, what is happening over here? And then anyway, they spent a good amount of time together, and the guys, the vendors, when they finally got to my office, they said like, oh, we were talking to this guy Don. He's got something to do with the store. I was like, yeah, he got something to do with the store.
just something.
And said, yeah, no, he started showing us around because we were just waiting. And he was telling us all about these cars over here.
Yeah.
And then he said, so which car are you boys looking at today? And he said, we're just here to fix some wheels. He goes, oh, well, in that case. And then he kept touring them.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. I love that.
No, I agree.
So
yep.
Anyway, from the top, from the top and everywhere else, like it's a pretty amazing environment. So,
God, that was like a 15-minute Porsche commercial.
it was a 15.
That was really good.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Haha.
Haha.
So hey to Dan, hey to FPBB brand. Where does that name come from? I wish I knew that. But thanks, Colin.
What is the FPB?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's his FPB?
And also, why
Brandon?
does he spell his name like that when we call him Brendan?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Happy Friday. Okay, Steven, who always has some good questions here. 2-part conversation. Starter question 1: which model do you consider to be the last analog Porsche, and why? And then the second part is: do you think Singer can be seen as an extension of the Porsche analog lineage, given their use of hydraulic steering? Naturally aspirated manual transmission. Why or why not? Yes. I don't know. How would you start that?
So I think the first question is, what's the last analog Porsche?
Right.
And I think that almost comes down to steering. Or does it come down to a 1999 Carrera with a throttle-actuated throttle body, not drive-by-wire?
No, well, it's up to you.
Yeah, I know.
This is
But
all, there's no
how
wrong
much does
answer, so.
drive-by-wire matter, and how much does ABS brakes or traction control systems? How much do you care about those? Do you think a 997 still feels analog?
Yeah.
You do? Do you think 991 Carrera T feels analog?
Yeah. Well, that's turbocharged.
Yeah.
So
That's not the 930's turbo.
no, I know.
And
I'm
that's
trying
analog.
to think.
Maybe-
That's a tough one.
Maybe it's when they injected Pop's burble tunes. Maybe the burble tune is the end of.
The sound symposers. Is that
Well,
what you're
no,
thinking
just the burble tune. When you put it in sport mode with the sport exhaust and it goes.
of? Right. Yeah.
Right? So I think that's 981, 991 generation. I don't think a 997 has a burble tune.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's depending on what day of the week and what mental mindset I would be in as far as analog, like what I'm considering analog. Because I mean, I see the direction that you're going as far as how do you, where do you place that? It's probably just because it's here and we've been talking about it. The GT2 RS that we have here.
Yeah. It's not analog.
It's turbocharged.
Yep. Don't care about that. I think
It's PDK.
I think it comes down to how much do your inputs
Yeah.
get interfered with
Yeah, 'cause-
before they hit.
Because yes.
So number one, are you okay with power steering?
So where I'm tossing it through my head right now, the debate in my brain is the PDK and manual transmission, and I need to
Yeah.
I need to go manual transmission
Yep.
or analog. So I'm gonna throw it into the realm of a 18 GT3, a naturally aspirated manual transmission where you could still get manual, two-way seats, lightweight car.
So it went away, then it came back.
Yeah.
Now I think we're having a real conversation.
Whereas in like the current GT3, it's a digital dash.
Yeah.
Right. I like seeing needles sweep, and I like seeing dummy gauges be accurate. Like they're not dummy gauges, they don't just, I'm overheating, no, I want to see the temperature
real
rise.
number. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there are a few right answers here. I think the first correct answer is probably. I'm trying to think of when ABS came in.
964s.
Yeah, exactly. But did it start with 89?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think an 89 Carrera rear wheel drive is the last analog 911.
Okay.
And then from then on, your inputs have been interfered with in some way or another, be it,
Could be interfered with.
yeah, but there was something registering what you were doing that could make it not happen.
Yeah.
So there was some kind of input.
Sure.
So I think it's an 89 Carrera. So let's say the last best analog car is the G body or the G series Club Sport.
Oh yeah.
That's the one to have.
88 Club
Yep,
Sport.
88 Club Sport. Those were manual steering too,
Yeah.
weren't they? Yeah, that's the car. That's the last one.
That's pretty cool.
Also, the last one is in 1999 because then your throttle input went from a wire going back to a thing
cable throttle.
to now it's all digital. 2000s were a drive-by-wire system, and that's what all the new stuff is. It's all drive-by-wire.
Yep.
So no matter what you're doing with your right foot, you're getting interfered with. And then I also think the ST is the last analog.
The ST that's out.
The new one, is the last analog 911. I think you can make arguments for all of them because that car is. I got to drive one from Clearmask install back here. You put the clutch in, the 4,000 to 0
Right.
revs.
Right.
Before you could even realize your clutch was in.
Right.
It just dropped. It was
Right.
instant. And to me, the analog feel is about how does what I'm doing reflect in what the car is doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the ST was spectacular. And is a current GT3 also spectacular and stuff like that? Sure. But I think they digitally engineered the ST to feel more analog. And I
Right.
think they've done, Farah says that like the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, it's got the digital sound package. It does a really good job lying to him. And it does such a good job lying, he doesn't care.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the ST is like that, where it may not be analog on paper, but the feel of the whole thing
Right.
is so communicative that it translates well enough where I could also make the argument that, you know, all of it, it is the best, it is the most improved out of all of them.
Right. Yeah.
So there's my 3 answers.
That's good. No, that's really good. And the second part, do you think Singer can be seen as an extension of the Porsche analog image, given their use of hydraulic steering, naturally aspirated manual
Yep.
transmission? Why or why not?
The analog lineage.
Yeah.
Your eyes are going. You should probably get checked out for glasses.
What did I say?
You said image.
Image. I said image.
Yeah,
Analog image.
It's almost image.
Lineage.
Yep.
It's the glare.
Yes, there it is. It's all the crap on that screen. I have the utmost respect for everything Singer is doing. And I think they are a branch of the Porsche family tree. Just like the Emery Outlaws and just like the Roof cars. I think they are not a Porsche product.
Right.
But they hold Porsche to such a high regard. We didn't also Carrera GT, is that analog? That's probably the best last
That's
analog.
pretty freaking analog.
Yeah, so that might just be the period end of answer. But I think their cars, you know, you have more seat time in them than I do. I've never driven one hard. I've
in the
moved them
Singer?
in a Singer. I've driven one around here.
You spilled your M&Ms under the passenger seat.
Doesn't spilled make it sound accidental? I placed.
Whatever. He doesn't own the car
Yeah,
anymore.
no,
He
it's
doesn't care.
fine. So I don't know. An extension of the Porsche analog lineage. Yes, I think I can say that they would be an extension of it.
I think it's an incredibly analog car.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that. What I was kind of, you know, do you group it in with 964 RS?
No.
No, I don't either. I think they're a different thing.
Yeah.
And better in a lot of ways, right? More power.
Yeah.
More detail.
Lighter
more
weight.
Yeah, exactly. Ton of stuff that is that trumps anything that
Yeah.
Porsche did, because we're 20, 30, 40 years from
Yeah.
when Porsche was building the stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, in my dream world kitchen, Porsche would absorb that company and then devote Porsche family members and Porsche engineers to help with it. I mean, Rob has done a great job. Leave him at the helm,
Right,
You
yeah.
know, bring him into the fold and say, we love what you're doing.
Right. Yeah.
Let's continue this with, you know,
But let's use our Visoc engineers. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. To
Exactly.
make it even better.
yeah, to amp it up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I like that. No, Stephen, you know, always great questions. You know, thank you for that. But yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So Jesse,
Also, if anyone else wants to answer Steven's questions, we'll mock you and tell you you're wrong.
Jesse's back. Okay, so here's good conversation.
Yep.
Do you think tariffs will help move all those GT3s on the floor?
I have no idea what to think.
Yeah.
I is kind of where I'm at right now.
So, okay, so here's some information for the people that are watching and listening to the show is we don't know, right, the overall end-all result of the tariff situation. What we do know is that Porsche is not bringing cars into the States until there's a solution or at least like a definitive answer, a concrete answer, I think is in their expression.
Well,
So new news that I'm learning is I did know that if cars are still in Germany, like they're built or whatever, and they're still in Germany, they have not gotten on a boat, they are not going to be shipped. The new news is that if cars have not reached U.S. soil yet, they're not going to, right?
they're going to get turned around?
Not necessarily turned around, but they're going to be delayed. So those cars they're not part of the equation just yet, and they're not going to be released until there's a concrete, definitive answer for it. So what we have is we have a lot of cars on the ground now that are not affected by that. Not only pre-owned cars, right, but brand new cars. We have brand new cars on the ground. We have that are not affected by any tariffs. I think that yes, so I think there's a little bit of a catch-22 with the tariff side. I think that yes, it is going to help us. It's going to help us sell the cars that we have in inventory, both new and pre-owned.
Well, I mean, we've got 2 GT3 RSs in customer names on order.
Oh, well, the order card. Yes.
And they are somewhere between locked in and onshore, which means those $300,000 cars have now become potentially $360,000 cars. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, potentially, right? And these are here right now, and you could just have it.
Right.
So we're one dealership. There's other dealerships out there where people are facing the same thing. And let's say on Tuesday, we find out that Porsche is passing on the full 20%.
Yeah.
We don't know that. We don't know what's happening at all. But if that is happening and your new car just went up 20% in value, what does that do to this one behind me? It makes it an extra bargain.
Yeah, right.
Because right now, this one's here. You can have it right now.
Yeah.
And it is not subject to that extra 20%.
Right. Yeah, it's not mandatory.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, who knows?
Right.
But just, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so fresh, and there's no...
That's the hard part to me. It's
is
just
hard.
that it's been, there's just, I think we're really good at making decisions when we have information.
Yeah.
People in general,
Yeah.
this dealership,
Yeah.
you know, me, like if you tell me stuff, I can make a decision and I can,
Yeah.
be it right or wrong, at least
Right.
I made a decision.
Yeah.
Right now we're in a point where it's like, I can't make a decision because I don't know anything.
So here's some other things to think about. Like, so without having all the information to help make a decision, here's another bit that I'm going to plant in your head.
Okay.
Right, that will it's either going to help or worsen things. If Porsche is not going to get cars into the U.S., right, until there is some kind of concrete decision or resolution,
Yep.
that means that there is now going to be a gap of new cars
Yes.
will not be arriving here
Yep.
for some unknown amount of
So
time.
for so far a week.
Yeah, at least a week, you know, minimum,
Yep.
right? Now we know that. Okay, that's obviously
Plus
not a big deal.
transport time month. So now I'm week and a month.
Well, okay, yeah, because the cars that are in Emden
Yep.
are not getting on ships, right? So that delays that, right, even further and further. So you know how there's like a population bubble? So baby boomers, right? Baby boomers is created a... So,
Yeah.
you know, people came home from the war.
Yeah.
started having a bunch of kids. They
Yep.
created a population bubble. Like my dad is a
Yep.
true baby boomer.
Okay.
So I'm 43.
Yep.
I'm part of a population bubble because baby boomers had kids.
Yep.
So there's like this, baby boomers, bubble,
Yeah.
normal. And then the baby boomers have kids. That's me, bubble.
Yep.
And then I'm having kids, bubble.
Yep.
Right? It continues like that. So there's a gap. Right now, there's going to be a gap that's coming our way, and we have a couple other things that are happening in the midst of all this stuff. I've been saying that mid-engine cars stop production October. I'm an idiot. They bumped forward, right, production for 2026 model year cars. No, they stopped mid-engine gas ICE engine cars stop production in June.
Yep. They'll
be
get
done.
here in October at the latest.
Maybe, yeah,
Unless we're still not shipping cars.
Yeah, but those cars are done in June, right? And so now I just ramped up, like, because we have people that come here in awe of the inventory that we have. Like, holy crap, you guys have a ton of Spyders and RSs and GT4 RSs and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we do. I've been very busy.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Right? Because all of this stuff is brewing, right? And a combination of cars, quitting production, even the turbo stopping production, mid-engine cars stopping production, the tariffs, that now no one knows what's happening. All this stuff is happening. The known givens is we've got roughly 55, 60 new cars in inventory that are here on the ground, available now, not affected by tariffs.
Not
We have-
directly.
Correct. Yeah. We have another 60 plus pre-owned cars here in our pre-owned inventory.
Yep.
Right. And out of those 60 plus cars that are currently here on the ground, I want to say like 25, 18. Yeah, I think it's like 18 are mid-engine ICE, cars that are available, not affected by anything, that will not be made
Yep.
here in just a couple months. So it's kind of a big push, right? Like right now, there's an opportunity for people that have been thinking and kind of hinging on that. Now's the time that you need to make some big decisions,
Yep.
because come July, August, certainly by November, let's say, because if the mid-engine cars that are ending production arrive here in October, if you're thinking about it, in November, too late.
Yep.
Too late, bro. There might be a car somewhere out
Yep.
there available. And if you have to have it, you're going to have to take whatever's available. No, I think right now is what you and I do. We have a lot of options available.
I'm
for
going to
people.
stop you right there. Let's not make this another Porsche Colorado Springs commercial.
I'm serious, man. I mean,
I know.
there's a ton of options available right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, hey, swallow that pill, just get over it,
Yep.
right? And just understand that this is the world, this is the environment that we live in right now, and just do it before you can't.
Yeah. Good.
Carpe diem.
Yeah. Seize it. Seize that shit. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting ride
Yeah.
to know what happens with all of this stuff. So
I like Scooter Tudor. I bet that is
Yeah.
the one Travis let me test drive.
it is.
Which car?
It's actually the one that I think Travis had me let you test drive.
Which car is this?
It's the Aventurine Green C4.
Oh,
Yep.
that's cool.
It's back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that the car that we got the first time because the guy lost his license?
Second time. The first time we got it, I don't know how we got it, but we got it. And then Nancy and I sold it to a guy that then got a wicked speeding ticket.
Well, I got two in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he sold it back to us.
Yeah.
And then Nancy
sold
sold it again.
Yeah. And now we got it back.
Yep. So, God, great car though.
It's a nice car.
It's a great car. Yep.
I wish I could talk about one of them that's coming in that I learned about the other day that's very similar to this car, but like turned to 11.
Tell me
Right?
more.
It's just one more.
Let's
It's-
let's not broadcast, we'll just mute this and you can tell me about it.
Right. Yeah. It's an incredibly aventurine green, black Mojave beige interior. However, I think it's a 4S with a manual.
God, that's a delight. Is that a $250,000 car when it gets here?
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's an S. But anyway, it's the same car with a manual.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But yeah, who knows? I mean, it should be here within a few weeks. But yeah. We're gonna have a lot of cars to talk about here very soon.
I hope so.
A lot of cars. Anyway, not to toot my own horn.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Right.
You just said it, you stupid
As
AI.
it turns out, when you're just nice to people, right, and you do the right things, and you're fun and easy to work with, good things will come your way. And that's exactly what's happening right now. We're super fortunate that there happens to be some individuals that really like doing business with us. They like us so much
that they're sending us a 2025 Carrera 4 GTS.
That's another one. Yeah, it's
chalk.
I think so.
I think it's chalk.
Is it a cab?
No, that one's a coupe.
It's a coupe.
C4 coupe. GTS,
Anyway.
the new turbo hybrid. I think we'll have it before we have our first.
It's very possible. Yeah. And so it's just.
So
that's just one more thing to, why we're so incredibly lucky. But you know what?
I might actually get to drive that. We should let's do a review.
Yeah.
When it gets like
totally
two dudes in a convertible. This one's not a convertible.
Except
asterisk, not always a convertible. That would be that's pretty funny.
Hey Mo.
Hey Mo. John and Justin here. This one's not a convertible. I thought you might like it. It's almost white.
Yeah.
I know you like white cars.
But I don't know. It's just a testament on, there's a reason that people like doing business here, and it's because we make it fun.
Yeah.
We just like having fun. And like, John started saying it, that's where I learned it from, is there's very few days that we come to work.
Yeah.
There's a couple days that we come to work,
Yeah.
Where it's just kind of like, whatever. But the majority of the time we come hang out with our friends, and our friends include our clients, right?
Are mainly our clients,
that's
honestly.
right.
Like there's like two people here that I work with that I actually enjoy. And I don't do a podcast with any of them.
So we get to come out and hang out, have fun. And somehow we have been able to make a living doing it.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's awesome.
Pretty super great.
We're going to have a ton to talk about here in the next coming weeks.
Yeah.
Or maybe
do we have anything more to talk about with our sponsorships and
so
go-kart racing and stuff like that?
Porsche Colorado Springs, I'm pretty sure
you mentioned it on the show, but
yeah. So Porsche Colorado Springs, we are the proud sponsors of the Colorado Karting Tour, which has its first actual race event this weekend at IMI up in Decano Motorsports Park. Place. So they will be practicing all day Saturday, full race series on Sunday. So if you're able to get out and about, actually weather is supposed to take a turn for the nice side, approaching 60 degrees. Definitely go support those kids and a lot of adults, frankly.
Are you going
racing that stuff? Yeah, oh yeah.
What are you going to take? You should take a 911 up there.
I'll be there Sunday for sure. We'll see what weather turns out to be. But that's going to be a ton of fun, and it's actually, this is the essence of racing. This is the purest form of racing that there is. And anyway, you get to go, cheer on these kids and these adults, and it's super competitive. It's a different kind of anxiety for a parent, that's watching this stuff. But anyway, I'm super looking forward to this season getting underway. And then the following weekend, Porsche Colorado Springs is also now the proud sponsor of the Colorado Karting Circuit Tour, which that's a racetrack in Centennial. It's right at the Centennial Airport, which is an awesome facility. It's new ownership, new track laid down. It's awesome, right? It is a premier track, that is for sure. And then the First Dibs podcast, we are proud sponsors of a scholarship program. And then we've been able to provide a lot of kids with race entry fees.
That's amazing.
A rain suit for one lucky, the platinum winner.
Does that mean if we're up there, I just get to take the kid's cart and race it?
No.
You sure?
No. I definitely want to have, so there was like the top 5 sponsorship winners this year, which we announced last week when you weren't here.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I was here last week,
that's right.
but that was
It
just
2 weeks,
digital.
Yeah. So we announced the sponsorship winners and then the platinum winner. And then it would be great to get some of those guys, some of those kids on the show. One of them's from Wyoming.
Yeah.
He comes down from Cheyenne to do these races. And those races are on Saturdays. So,
Maybe we can have Lewis be the host of that show.
Maybe.
So it's just because what kid wants to talk to us? Like, look at these old guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeez.
But it would be really nice. We should have a car and some flags and some things, at the Colorado Karting Circuit. So again, Porsche Colorado Springs, by sponsoring both series here in Colorado, to me is a very loud statement, right? If you ever want to be a member of the karting community, Porsche Colorado Springs is there with you in total support. And I mean, I think it's a fantastic idea, that we kind of hopped on board with this program, and we work with a lot of great people and just the parents, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the kids, everybody involved with it. Awesome. Just super fun, really, really cool, great people to get to know and hang out with. And
I have a stretch goal. Mm-hmm. You ready for it?
Yep.
We get a bunch of rental carts and all of the kids and adults from the circuit and tour.
Wow. That's a lot of rentals.
Yep. And we rent Pikes Peak.
And you're going to race rental carts?
And we're not racing. We're driving. We're driving the carts up Pikes Peak.
Okay. 12.2 miles?
Whatever.
I don't know they hold that much fuel.
They got to be able to do that. 20 minutes. You could run it for 20 minutes, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I bet you could take a cart up there in 20 minutes.
I don't know. It'd be pretty insane.
Just say bet, and then let's go do it.
It'd be pretty insane. Mm-hmm. We know people that could.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
We could work on that.
We'll rent the mountain, and we'll go take a nice cruise
in go-karts.
up in go-karts.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Maybe the EV go-karts. That might be the way to do it.
Wow. I don't know that I've seen too many of those. Colorado Karting Circuit does have a rental. They have a league. They have a league for rental carts. That's pretty awesome. So if you don't have your own equipment, right? If you're not ready for that commitment level, which I don't blame you,
Yeah.
if you're not, they have a league where it's rental carts, which is awesome. But just super awesome facility, and it's so close, right, for all this stuff. I'm super excited for my son, and then Joe's daughter Eve, really to get started with the Colorado Karting Tour, which we sponsored last year. And they tour around. Actually, they have a race in Amarillo, Texas this year, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty great.
That's pretty exciting. Billy, one of our motorsports techs, he's helping Joe wrench this year for the go-karts. He's going to be Eve's mechanic for a number of races. He's going to Amarillo because he's from like 30 minutes outside of Amarillo, but it's going to be a ton of fun.
I think it sounds like fun.
Yeah.
We had a question from Scott about if Porsche had passed along any of their position on the tariffs. We did talk about it earlier in the show. I don't know. I think depending on where you tuned in, you might be coming up on it. But if you missed it, we don't know anything yet other than Porsche has paused shipping cars at this point. So if you have a car that is either in production or is finished with production but has not gotten on a boat yet, It will not be coming to the U.S. yet until they figure out what they're going to do.
Right.
We don't know what, if any, of the tariff amount is going to be passed on, or anything. We have no other information. But as soon as we have any information, it's going to be communicated out. So if you have any specific questions, you can call me. 612-961-2381 is my cell. Text me, call me, and I'll keep you up to speed on what we've got.
Yeah. And so what's here is what's here.
Yep.
And they're not affected.
Yep.
That's kind of
He has a car on order for summer delivery.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No.
So maybe we can put you in one of ours that's here, and you can have it for spring delivery.
There you go.
That could be good. That was fun.
That's good.
I won't be here next week. Maybe I can do it from the plane. I don't know.
Actually, the only thing that I really forgot last time was to turn this on, so Jason and I could see it. And but anyway, I think that was fine. I think that was a good show. I appreciate having you back.
I felt like I had a lot to say.
That's great.
Didn't even realize it.
It's good content.
I was kind of dreading this. 2 weeks off. It's like, gotta go do that again.
All right. That's all I got.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate everybody tuning in. Listen to the AI show, and at least for 2 minutes. And listen from 18 minutes to 21 minutes. That's the best.